Honestly. Bit warm tonight.
Yeah, ever so slightly. I said to Jason, it's 35 degrees in my flat and getting warmer. It's the problem with being on top floor flat, all the heat from below rises. And when people start cooking, it starts getting warmer. But I have grey egg on, but it's just, it doesn't seem to be able to fight the plasma screen and the.
Yeah, this plasma scene's gonna soon heat up a room pretty quick.
Yeah, it certainly can.
I built a thermometer from the Arduino, so I can. It's showing 24 degrees in the living room downstairs, but I think it's considerably warmer than that up here. Right, link out.
Especially with all those machines updating.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3. What I've got the server here, the recording machine, my Surface, the Skype machine, 2 tablets. Yeah, so it's no wonder it's getting warm in here. Right, well, Jason, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, a bit hectic today. I've literally just finished eating my meal. Just I've got a coffee here.
It's been a nice cool 30 degrees today.
Yeah, that's really cold.
Yeah,
I just hit 38 in my flat now.
Oh, blimey.
Well, I'll check my skin temperature. It's funny. I went for a walk at lunchtime and it was quite warm, but my skin temperature didn't change that much. It just shows you how the body regulates your temperature. Yeah. So anyway, what we're going to talk about this week? Have we got any new builds to talk about?
Well, I don't think so.
Well,
I haven't got a new build because I'm installed by
Richard Downpour of builds, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got my build installed about 4 o'clock, I think it was, after, and I've been trying it at various points throughout the day. 33.6 degrees my skin temperature. So we'll bring you live updates through the show. But yeah,
in terms of builds, it's been a bit like Busters, isn't it? Wait forever for one. Suddenly two come along together.
Yeah. So when did we get the last phone build then? Did we get that on last week's show?
No, it was Thursday.
No, it was really late Thursday. Really late.
Yeah,
we didn't say we'd have a build on Thursday. We didn't say what type of build we had.
No.
Yeah. Although I think, to be fair, I think it was earlier than the desktop drop. Right. That was really late. I mean, that was about 11 o'clock, I think.
Yeah,
well, UK time, at least, anyway.
Yeah. Right. Well, we'll talk phone build first, then. I think that came first.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was the 26th. I did the post. So I think it was the late 25th, wasn't it? So that was, like you said, last week. And I have to say,
because I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I think we'd had that mobile phone build the week before, so I don't think any of us really necessarily expected another one quite so quickly. I think at the time it hit, I was having a discussion with kind of Richard Hare and a few others about, well, when are we going to get a new desktop build? And next thing I got a tweet going, mobile build.
Well, I did actually. I think I said on the show, I don't think we'll get a phone build. So my
predictions
slightly out. I'm sure I predicted Tuesday this week for a new desktop build. I think that was my prediction.
Yeah, I think you were Tuesday last week. I think, Ian, come on.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, but you can't hold me to a week.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise. They released the new phone build, and because I was surprised with it because like you said, they did 2 phone builds in a row rather than a phone and a desktop. I thought they'd just get desktop builds now as they get things fixed for release. But now they've got the new phone build. So have any of you tried it?
Yep, did my usual.
I haven't.
Not even your son's tried it, has he?
No. I've taken a step back from the phone builds.
I did try it on one of the dev machines. I had you had the problem with the settings again, didn't you, Ian? I had a similar problem. So it just seems a general issue, that one. But go back, clean build, and reinstall it will seem to work, fix it. So do a lot more stable, I think.
Yes, definitely.
And quicker as well. Performance has definitely picked up a lot.
Yeah, well, that was my first experience. I did have the issue when, like you said, that I installed it the first time, and then it does give you the warning that just say on the blog post, don't touch it until it's finished, which I didn't do. But then the settings didn't work. Now, so what I did then was put it back onto 8.1 with the Nokia tool, and then just have another go, and it was fine then. Although someone did tweet me afterwards and said, "Oh, if you'd left it, it probably would have just sorted itself out." So maybe I was too impatient.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I was as well, but it definitely worked anyway the second time around. So I'm happier with it. I think. I mean, I could probably run with that one.
Yes, that's what I thought as well.
I think it's probably the first build I could actually use because most things work. Still a few little glitches, but most things work.
Yeah, so I'll tell you. Go ahead, Jace.
I was going to say, I must admit, while I haven't tried it firsthand, that has been the general feeling that I got. That a lot of people have kind of said, "Oh, this is almost kind of getting to the point of being daily driver type quality," and it does seem to be quite a big step forward. I think the main things that really kept me away from it was the warnings about potential issues with the pin unlock, and maybe get into a state where you had to leave it alone for a couple of hours. But certainly from what I've seen, performance, app opening performance, as well as actual once the apps are running, and general stable in terms of the stability of the build seemed to be a really big step forward.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what's changed then on this one. So they updated the photo app. Oh, I tell you the thing. Oh, I tell you what, Jason. Before your headphones, I think they're making like a clicky sound, rattling sound. Oh, so it's your headset.
Are they?
Yeah. When you there's like a clicking sound as you're talking every now and again. So I don't know whether they're moving around or something.
No, I don't think so. Let me try disconnecting them and reconnecting them. So
it's not
it's
not electronic sound. It's like a physical sound, like there's something bumping.
It could be mine.
It might be my cable actually.
No, it's not yours.
No, it might be on my cable actually.
Yeah.
I think it's just moving my head. I think I'm pulling the cable. It's banging on the desk. So
that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't sound electronic. It sounded analog.
Well, I know I'm having to hold my microphone in place at the moment because it's.
Oh yeah, yours fell off.
Yes, it's actually still is falling off. I haven't got around to taping it on yet, but.
Anyway, so what Microsoft said the change as well with this one was Microsoft Edge is the browser, which actually is working a lot better, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the phone build, the desktop builds. With the tray with the address bar at the bottom now, which I think is the right place for mobile.
They definitely heard that loud and clear, didn't they?
Yeah. What else was I think Cortana was improved, and there's lots of little changes to it. But I think the main thing to me was that it's just a lot faster and a lot more stable. It was it really is like you said, Gary. It is actually usable.
Yeah.
It doesn't lag. The early builds were really very laggy. You would press something and you wait, and this, because this is a 630, you do get that resuming anyway. The resuming message when it comes back on, because it's only got 512 of RAM. But it was really bad on the early builds. But now that's much better. And there's a few things on this build actually that have come in the new build. I noticed there's a note button from the Action Center. What else was in there? Quiet hours. Well, that was in the Action Center, and those have come across the PC build and obviously Edge. So it was for a while. It felt like the phone build was slightly ahead, really.
Yeah, it did for a week.
Yeah. So so I've been quite impressed with that. It's like you said, it's almost close enough to consider putting it on my 1520. Not quite yet. I know I'm probably not going to bother with on the 1520 till it's finished, because I don't think it's worth messing when you've got a test phone available anyway. So, but it is definitely working a lot better, and quite a nice build. And I think it looks nice as well. If you've seen the fonts and things have been cleaned up as well.
Good.
So that's the phone build. Yeah, looking a lot better. Have a look. There's a video anyway I recorded showing that. So that looks quite good. And of course, we've got a new PC build today. So Now, shall I tell you my? Well, first of all, Jason, you got that straight away, did you?
It's probably maybe about an hour after the blog post. I've been finding with the desktop builds that it's normally about an hour before the English kind of UK build propagates. So so it's probably just about midnight, I guess, by the time I started downloading it onto the Surface Pro 3. And I think with my broadband connection, I think it was it downloaded overnight, and then I installed it first thing this morning.
And what's your first impressions of it then?
Yeah, I mean, I'd had a quick look at the 10147 build that had leaked anyway, and that was certainly a big step forward over 10130. But in terms of the Surface Pro 3, it was definitely ready for a new build, and I think 10158 kind of builds on the stability of 147. It definitely, I've not really had, I think I can say, no issues with in terms of start menu opening or notifications opening. I know they've specifically called out some issues, some fixes relating to the Surface Pro 3, and in terms of, I don't find the fan kicking in quite as often as it was, so it just feels a lot more kind of fluid. Obviously, we've now got the all apps and on kind of tablet mode on the start screen, and I think they also mentioned something about the fact you can drag up now to kind of bring up the all apps rather than having to tap the actual all apps button.
Yes, you
I
can.
haven't necessarily seen it.
It doesn't quite work how I want it to. You've got still got in tablet mode. You've got to hit the hamburger and then drag up. If you're in desktop mode, well, you've got the icons there anyway, and you just drag up on the icon.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I've actually changed my start menu to be full screen, even in desktop mode, purely because I've got so many duplicated apps in the start menu. It just looks horrible. So I tend to kind of hide that away at the moment. But okay, so that's obviously that's probably why I'm not seeing that functionality the way I've got mine set up. But yeah, certainly I noticed that the first thing it did was installed an update to the mail and calendar applications. They definitely seem to be much improved, although they'd been improving gradually over the past couple of weeks anyway. But yeah, certainly, like I say, stability wise, I did have a couple of blue screens. One while it was installing the May firmware update yet again on the Surface Pro 3, blue screen on that, and it hasn't come. That update just says waiting for restart. It doesn't show as installed, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But and I also noticed at one point this afternoon I came to use my Surface and it obviously restarted. I noticed it had blue screened. But since then, it seems to have settled down. So I don't know if that was maybe a heat issue. And I've seen people talking about after installing a build that OneDrive can kind of sit for up to an hour and a half, just validating, I guess, all the files that you've got offline. But yeah, it's definitely a big step forward. It's much more responsive. I've those issues of start menu not opening. I've been moving apps around on the start screen and not having any major issues. So I think it's certainly getting there. It's certainly the place where I was hoping it would be at this point with 1 month to go.
Yeah. So Gary, did you get it installed?
I've got my usual problem where I won't switch off slow build for me. So
I had that once.
Yeah, last time I managed to do it, but I keep clicking on fast, and eventually it went. But at the moment, this time, it just doesn't seem to want to. It is sitting on slow build.
If you check Gabe's timeline, he's got a fix that should address that.
All right, we'll have a look.
He mentioned it to somebody else earlier on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, that can't be right. New PC build.
What?
Yeah, breaking news. Gable's just tweeted to say, got a surprise for insiders. Here is a new desktop build. 6 minutes ago, Windows Insiders, we have a surprise for you today. New build already.
And after the lengths I've been to today.
Yeah, so we have something of a surprise for you today. Our last build to Windows Insider Fast Ring was just yesterday, but we're following up with another build today, 10159, released to the Fast Ring.
Good heavens.
This will make it, after all the clamouring we made for new builds, it says, why do you build so fast back to back? As you probably know, we validate builds that we produce in internal rings where they're used by engineers. This one obviously got promoted.
Well, that's interesting. After all, because I've seen a lot of people having issues getting that build
Yeah, it's not quite published yet. Publishing the build later this afternoon. It should be about everywhere by end of day. If you're actively downloading 101.58, then when 101.59 is published, you may get an error. If that happens, just reboot and go back.
Wow.
I think I got an email. I think I got an email from my IT today saying I'm up to 80% broadband usage. So it's good to be a new month next tomorrow.
Let us know if you chose Collect correctly or if Fast suddenly got too fast with 2 builds in 2 days.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there you go. But anyway, what I was actually looking for is I'm sure Gabe had tweeted something. Yeah, from an elevated command, run reg space. Well, I won't. Let me. I'll retweet it to you.
Yeah, I know.
Although some people just had kind of mixed results, but yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Well,
there's some news for the show.
Well, yeah, my experiences was I've got 4 devices running Windows 10 now. One of them is the Link 7, which I'll talk about shortly. But I've got the HP Touch Smart. Yes, it's still going.
Hey, that's the benchmark. If that runs, we've got a good build.
I've got a new Atom desktop. Well, I say new. It's an old Atom power machine that I've resurrected and did a clean build on Friday. And then I've got my Encore 8. So I've got 4 machines running Windows 8, but the Encore 8 is my main machine that I use for testing, and I've been using for the documentation stuff and all the book stuff and everything. So I saw the tweets last night, so I was doing check for updates last night, and didn't come through. But when I came down this morning, I thought, well, they'll be there now, so I did check for update, and it didn't show up on any of my machines apart from the HP Touch Smart. So the HP Touch Smart, I think that's got something slightly wrong with the language packs. There's too many language packs, because I started that going at 7 o'clock this morning and it finished about an hour ago. So it's been chugging away all day. But anyway, so the Encore 8 is the machine that I wanted to get the update on, and it wasn't show up on that. But over the weekend, actually, I by accident, I managed to restore it back to Windows 8.1 because I was doing a PC reset because some of the mail apps weren't working, and options was to do a reset, and then there was a PC reset and to reset everything.
Away.
Oh, can you not hear me? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you. Hasn't done that minimizing app thing again, has he?
No, Gary said I was
Gary
fading away.
minimized.
Yeah, maybe he has.
Oh, right. No, I can hear you. Maybe it's Gary fading away.
It is Gary fading away.
Like I say, maybe he's minimized Skype.
Gary, don't minimize yourself. Okay, well, maybe he'll come back at some point. Oh, he's just sent a message, I think. Where's it gone? There.
Yes. Am I the only one with no audio? Yes.
Oh, I'm back.
Yes, you are the only one with no audio.
So Ian just faded away. That was really weird. And then he came back.
Right. So I tell you.
Should have used Scotch videotapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably because I was doing that red hack while I was talking.
So so on this Encore 8, somehow I got 8.1 back on it by doing a reset, which is quite good. I didn't even realize I could do that. I thought I'd lost that image now, which is the factory image that I got back on it. So I got Windows 8. I installed 10.130 on Saturday, so it's all clean and everything, but it still wouldn't install it, and there was lots of try this, try that, and there's no ISO available. So in the end, what I did was I did another reset on it, put it back onto 8.1. And then installed 100074, a really old build, which installed okay. It then tried to install the 10130 from the slow ring, so I stopped that, changed it to the fast ring, and it installed it. But it took ages. It seemed to take ages, so it's like a full day really to get this thing up and running. But anyway, so now I've got it up and running, and I have to say it is working very nice. It's very smooth and the transitions are quite nice. The animations, when you tap on a live tile, how they move around, and I've been pretty impressed with it. The Edge browser is fast, and I've noticed that. I don't know if you noticed that, Jason. It's much faster than when it was Spartan.
Yes, yeah, it's certainly come on leaps and bounds. Just as predicted, all my favourites have disappeared, but they are still in Internet Explorer, so I just need to do an import.
Yeah, but overall, very impressed with this build, and
I like. Yeah, I mean, I like the dark theme in the Edge browser. That works really nicely. Some positives for me. I think I'd mentioned that the Surface Pen wasn't opening OneNote. That's now fixed.
Oh, good.
So that's quite good to have that back. And actually, the day before they released an update to the Surface app, which in most builds of Windows 10 I couldn't even get to open. So that started working in before the new build. So that was another big step forward. And then, so really, my only complaint I've got really left is that I've got these duplicated applications in the All Apps view. So old apps that seem to have been updated to the new store have still got the old icons there. So things like modern apps like LastPass and kind of like calendar, calculator, they've all got 2 icons in the All Apps view, which is really frustrating.
Oh.
I kind of hope the upgrade would kind of clean that up. So I don't know if there's some folder lurking somewhere that's got duplicate shortcuts that sometime I can kind of go in and clean up. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the good thing about doing a clean install is that you do get that sort of, you don't have any of that carried over. But it's one reason why I'm not going to put it on my Surface Pro 3, because I don't want to have to keep doing PC refreshes and resets and everything else. So it's quite happy to do this on this Encore, which has got nothing on it, but I don't want to do it on this machine with the audio editing software and all that to mess about with. But it is a good build, actually. I think it is a good build. Very nice build. I thought the last one was quite good anyway. I got it on this.
Yeah, that one hadn't been so great for me. 10130 was, I guess, good enough for a daily driver for me, but it wasn't quite there. But this is definitely a big step forward as we kind of approach the potentially, I guess, the release to manufacturing date.
You can see some of the pieces carried over, as I was saying before, from Windows Phone as well, or from the mobile builds. You've got the note buttons in there, and quiet hours are in there as well. Oh, did you notice the battery life timing's back?
I saw, I saw you mention that. I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, mine's just there's not charging at the moment. So I hadn't actually noticed that one.
So yeah, quite happy to get that to the build. Just very frustrating that it wouldn't install on a machine. So I'll be very interested to see what happens with this new build. Whether I'm going to have to, whether this new build will come straight through, or the one that's still on 10130, will that sort itself out? It remains to be seen. But the other one that didn't update as well, the desktop one that I'm using at work, that suddenly picked up the update about 4 o'clock today and actually hammered my network connection at work as it downloaded the image. It really pushed the limits on that. So
I know they did have an issue, didn't they, with one of the early Windows Phone build where it didn't quite provision properly and people weren't seeing the update, and they kind of said, okay, let's take it offline for a couple of hours, and they then brought it back on. So maybe there was some images that didn't quite propagate properly.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm interested in how it happens with the one that didn't get the build at all, whether that stays stuck on 10130 and I've got to fix the trick that I did before, or whether it'll just jump the next one, and I have to wait and see. So, so did you get the phone companion app working? I couldn't get that to work.
I haven't looked at that, to be honest. I've been too busy playing around with all the other stuff, seeing what is now fixed over what was broken. So
a lot of people said that doesn't work. So I'm not that I've been able to test it. I would like to report that I am now on the fast ring.
Hey,
but I'm still been offered the update yet. So
I noticed obviously the Microsoft Wi-Fi app is in there, which again I haven't explored yet, but it'll be interesting.
Wi-Fi, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But interesting. If it must be, we're not pushing these builds hard enough, because according to Gable's post, there's over 300 fixes in this one increment to the build number. So with one bit, he doesn't mention specifics, but apparently there is one major fix in there. So considering the blog post yesterday said there are no major issues.
Yeah. And that was a bit of a milestone, really, wasn't it? That's the first release without any major issues.
Yeah, definitely. And I suspect these builds we're getting now must be getting relatively close to kind of the final build. So any Windows updates we get are probably going to be kind of like the day one patches.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what else. There's the new version of the music and TV apps. The music app has got slightly updated UI. I was going to do a blog post on that, but the albums are now circles. No, the artists are circles.
Yes, to separate them from albums.
Another change to the book.
Well, yeah, there's more screenshots to change. I did notice some other changes as well. So, yeah, there's some amendments there to be done. But overall, it is looking very good, and so I'm very pleased with it running on here. But what I thought I'd try is remember the Lynx 7 they had, which has got the compressed image Windows build, which as early on in the Microsoft said it wouldn't be supported initially, but it would be for rollout. So I never even bothered using it. But then on Saturday, I thought, well, I've not used this time. I've not even switched it on for weeks. I'll give it a go. So I downloaded the ISO of 10130 and installed it, and it worked absolutely fine. So there was no issues with the update because it has this compressed image, but I presume it knows it's a compressed image and just updates the compressed image. But it worked absolutely fine. So I tried it, tested it. Everything works there. It's all the drivers were there. Everything. It was a really nice, simple update, and no issues with it. It's not seen the new build yet. Hopefully, it'll see this new build tomorrow. But yeah, it works really well. So I did. I remembered how many views I got on the. It's up to like 50,000 number of views on YouTube for the previous video I did with Lynx 7. So I thought, I'll just do one just to show how it works with Windows 10, and that's nearly had 2,000 views since yesterday. So there's definitely a lot of interest out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I watched that video. It's really good to see it running on there, and it as you from the video you can see it runs so well. And for like a little £79 7-inch tablet, it's
yeah. Well, it's now 59.
Perfect.
In fact, someone sent me a message on the YouTube and said actually they paid 49 for it.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
crazy.
Yeah, and it does fix the biggest issue I have with this Lynx 7, which is the thing that really bugs me. I think it's because I'm used to the Toshiba with the Windows key at the bottom.
Yeah.
But the Windows key on the Lynx 7 is at the top, and I've never liked that. But of course, it doesn't matter now because you've got the Windows key on the screen all the time. So
Yeah.
It's fixed that issue with me. So I did get a few comments on the blog. Well, one comment on the blog saying, "How can you even say that it looks good on there?" And you must have loved Windows 7 tablet.
It wasn't Josh Pollard, was it?
No, it wasn't Josh Pollard. But I have to say, because I commented on that comment, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And I do tend to agree with the comment about the borders, and the 3 rows across the middle just look like a complete waste of space around it. At least give us 4 rows. But I can understand to some extent because you have the bit coming in from the side, but you don't need to leave that space until it's up. Otherwise, why not just have it up permanently all the time?
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it looks really good. And I actually think Task Switcher actually works way better on 10
Yes, it does,
than for this tablet. And the whole idea of 10 being a vertical rather than horizontal works so much better for this tablet as well, because it is much more likely to be held portrait than landscape.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a big phone, really. But I know it's not what we'll. For 7-inch tablets going forward, we probably won't see this version of Windows on it. They'll come with the mobile version. But even so, it's good to try it, and it just shows you there's a lot of people interested in there. But 59 quid or 49 quid, if you just want to test Windows 10, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a perfect size little tablet, isn't it? And actually, just reminded me to mention, actually, on my Surface Pro 3, one of the things I've been complaining about over the last couple of weeks was the fact that whether or not I've got 2 columns or 3 columns of tiles, and it's definitely fixed on 3 columns now. So that's another nice little change.
Yeah.
Although I'd still like to see 4 being actually able to put within each column of tiles have 2 wide, which I can do on my desktop PC. But I guess I'll just have to learn to live with that. But one question for you both: how do you feel about these white icons that the Mail app, the Store app, and the Calendar app, I think Music and Video have now kind of adopted?
Yeah, I think they look all right, actually, to be honest.
I think they work better if you pin them to the taskbar on a tablet.
Yeah,
they're a bit clear. They do stand out a bit on the desktop icons, but I don't know. Maybe that's the way of the future.
I actually quite like
There's
it.
certainly, there's certainly a nice contrast to the overall kind of dark themes. But yeah, the other thing I noticed today was Larry Herb from Xbox was talking about updates to the Xbox One app. Sorry, to the Xbox app on Windows 10, which again I haven't had a chance to really take a good look at yet. I think there was a few features there that have been added to the games and how you view different elements of the apps. I think that's slowly evolving. And I think his words were something along that this is close to final UI, so I think it's not going to change too much more. And the other major thing in this build is, which we haven't mentioned, is of course that the old store apps are now gone.
Yeah, store beta's store beta.
Yes, and it's interesting because Walshy, I guess, of Mango fame, really going back to Windows Phone early days. Although I'm sure he's known for many more things than just that. But he mentioned that the currently the new store app, the combined store, is got older versions of kind of legacy store apps than the old store. I guess while they kind of synchronize those databases across.
Actually, I just noticed in the store app you can't turn off automatic updates. It's grayed out on mine. It says contact your system administrator about changing this setting.
You better contact your system administrator.
That's me.
Yeah. Now I can on my desktop I can. Let me see if because I've got Office 365 hooked up on my Surface Pro 3, and it may be that sets some.
I haven't got any Office 365 or anything on this tablet.
Oh, okay. Let me see. No, I can turn it on and off.
Have you got the professional or the core?
Professional.
Yeah, I think it's this. Toshiba's put the core one on.
Yes, it would do, wouldn't it? Yeah, if it was just
it was from
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like you can't even turn them off because you don't get any release notes. But yeah, you can't even turn them off, and you can't even see what's been downloaded either. It's very strange.
Yeah. I mean that's the way they're going with home, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've said with home you won't be able to delay Windows updates, you won't be able to turn it off. Well, unless you're what was it? Which PC manufacturer is it? Samsung.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless you're Samsung, you won't be able to turn them off. So that kind of makes sense, really. And I think that is about just that as far as they're concerned, if you're a home user, it kind of that complexity needs to be taken away from you. We'll just update everything, and there's no opt out.
Yeah, because I think if you've got the professional build, you've got the option. Oh no, the defer option's still there on this one. So, I've noticed this is a new button. There's a stop insider builds button.
Yes.
I don't think that was there on the last build, was it?
I think it was. I think it might have been there, but maybe grayed out.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, now
I think it's in advanced options. Yeah, I think. Because interesting, the one thing that was mentioned is in the post last week, I think it was, saying about you now need a Microsoft account. They said it would be in the next build. You'd be prompted that you needed to link to a Microsoft account, but then Gabe was mentioned on Twitter that actually no, to get this build, if you're not seeing the build, it's because you're not signed in with a Microsoft account.
That's what I thought. Maybe that. Well, I think you thought that might be my problem, didn't you? But
so again, I think that makes me think that maybe there was some kind of provisioning issue going on.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
One thing I'd like to know is because you can choose whether or not updates get pulled across to your local network or not. I'd love to see if there some kind of indication of where those updates were coming from. Are they being pulled down off the internet?
Yeah.
Or are they actually coming off local PCs?
Yeah. Now I know that it didn't do that today when I was in the office because I've got this machine here and the desktop machine. The desktop machine was hitting the internet for the build. Although this is a core, and the other one was professional, so maybe that's why. But maybe I'll try that. But I noticed that the desktop machine was getting the full 3 gig or whatever it was. In fact, it seemed to be quite a slow update. Some updates have seemed to be quite quick, previous builds, but I don't know whether it's this one because I went from 10074 as well, which probably made it even longer. But it took a long while, a good couple of hours to install, where the last few builds have been sort of half an hour.
Yeah, I mean they have generally gone quite quick. I have to say I didn't really sit and watch mine, but I'd say they were pretty quick. The one that that I did actually spend time watching was on an old Core i5 laptop, and that seemed to go quite slow. But then that's kind of, that laptop feels a bit aged anyway, even though it's got a Core i5 processor and it's kind of 5 years old now. So it kind of feels a bit aged.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think overall, I didn't have a sense that it was slow.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing though, I have now become an expert on installations and PC resets and things. I've just done that many of these things.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that is fixed from 101.30, and that was that the pin unlock now works again.
Yeah, and from all accounts, the picture unlock may be working better, which will please Josh.
That picture unlock, because on the previous builds before 101.30, the pin unlock didn't work, so I used picture unlock on this tablet.
Yep.
But half the time it didn't display the picture.
Yeah. Is that now working on the new build?
I haven't tried it because the pin unlock's working.
Yeah, because I use picture lock all the time anyway. And that was really annoying. There was a workaround for it, which was to go off to the login screen and the user password login screen, and then come back to the picture unlock, and it would then redo it. But
I also find if you rotated the tablet as well, that would.
Yeah, I think basically anything we refreshed it,
yeah,
we'll put it on. So yeah, that's I think. I still haven't got an update. It's still saying. But never mind. I'll be patient.
You maybe have the same issue I had, the way you just don't get offered that build, but you might get the new one, or you want to get an ISO of previous build ready. Although I think Richard Hay was saying he didn't need the ISO because he'd already had a previous build on there, so he just rolled back to that build and then did the check for the new build and he found it. You just need to get off 101.30, I think.
Yeah. Well, one thing I have noticed is that the store updates to apps do download and install a lot quicker than they were on 101.30, and also now when you click check for updates, you actually see a progress indicator with the circular dots that they seem to like at the moment. So again, that's much improved.
An determinate progress bar.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And of course, the other massive addition is to the music store.
Yeah, the music store is. Well, it's been there the last couple of builds, hasn't it? I think.
No, I'm talking AC/DC.
Oh, yes, yes. I've got my music pass. I'm downloading those already.
Yes, I did see a tweet today, which I think I'd have been proud of if it's almost something that I would have written myself. But it was something like, it went somewhere along the lines of, everyone, it's not just the Apple Music Store that got AC/DC today. Yeah. Everyone got it.
Yeah. Yes, but, very nice to see. So, I remember searching for one of I think I once searched for one of their songs. And it gave me this dodgy cover version of it or whatever. Yeah,
some tribute band or something. But,
that was it. Yeah.
The other news, which contradicts what I said last week when I said I thought it'd be highly unlikely if Apple would allow their music service to be streamed to Sonos. Well, that apparently got announced today as well. So there you go. There's my predictions.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so although I think there are some little caveats, aren't there, and things like that, but I haven't got into it, to be honest. So
yeah, hopefully Xbox will get it soon.
Yes, hopefully.
We can hope.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed the music app. I've spent a lot of time in the music app recently. But I tell you what, one thing, I don't know whether Microsoft have deliberately done this, but they just seem a bit of a de-emphasis on DLNA in Windows 10. What do you think, Gary? Have you?
Well, I guess it's
play. There's no play to option.
No, you've got
you've got cast. Yes, but you can only do that through File Explorer or Windows Media Player.
Yeah, you can't cast from within the app, which seems a bit weird, doesn't it?
And I mean, in Windows 8, you had the Charm to do the share the devices, didn't you? And you could connect to a DLNA renderer. But as far as I'm aware, there is no way to stream music or video using DLNA from the music or the film and TV app.
Yeah, I hadn't really twigged that, but that's very true. There isn't, is there?
No, there's no way at all. The only way to cast is through File Explorer and Cast 2 or Windows Media Player.
I wonder if that's coming.
There is a cast button in film and TV app, but that uses display Miracast.
Hmm.
So, because I saw that, I thought, oh, there you go, that's fine. I'll just do it through there. But I tried it, and it would only work on the Roku. It wouldn't work on the Xbox, even though that's got the Miracast preview app. But
Yeah.
it would go to the Roku as Miracast. But what I did find is in Windows 10, you can Miracast obviously the whole thing. But then when you try, so I was Miracasting from my phone, the Windows 10 phone, to Roku, and I could see the user interface of Windows, of the mobile interface. And then when you went to play a video, it blocked it because it said it's protected content.
Mhm.
But you can go into the video player, play the content, and then cast from there.
Okay. Yeah.
But it works about 10% of the time.
A couple of things I've noticed in File Explorer and this PC, and it's not the sort of thing I normally go looking for, so this might well have been there even in Windows 7 or 8 days, but I noticed that in Computer I've got an Access Media, which has now got connect to a media server.
And where have you got that?
In File Explorer, if you go to this PC and
yes.
the toolbar, I don't know if that's something that I don't normally go looking for, so it might well have been there for quite some time. But the other thing I've noticed, which is odd given that they've said, I think they announced, didn't they, that libraries was kind of been, kind of shoved to the background. You could turn it on if you wanted to, but it wouldn't be on by default. They've actually added a couple of extra new libraries, which is the camera roll and save pictures.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which I guess is to kind of bring in from one, allow you a single view against kind of OneDrive and local folders. But it just seems odd to be creating new libraries when libraries you've got to go looking to switch it on.
Yeah. And I've noticed really, if you do want to do any media sharing between devices, you're going to need Windows Media Player, which is kind of ironic. But unless you use third-party app, but even that VLC doesn't have DLNA built into it at the moment. So really, that is your best way if you want to do media sharing. So if you've got a music library on a machine in your network and you want to consume it on your Windows 10 machine, then file sharing is the best option. But failing that, then Windows Media Player. So
Yeah,
it's still there and it's still relevant.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a stab in the back, isn't it? We're not going to include Media Center, but we'll throw in Media Player, which hasn't changed in years.
Yeah. Well, the actual media sharing actually works quite well in that. But I did manage to, in the film and TV app, I've got all my films stored on the server here, and I did manage to add the folder to the file and TV app, so it would see all the movies. But of course, as soon as you go offline, it breaks. It expects to see that, and they don't show up or whatever. So it's not that elegant, but you can do it if you've got a home network and you've got maybe a home theater PC, and you've got a server or whatever. You can map drives not map drives, but you add libraries between devices. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a claim to fame in case this does turn out to come true. I normally with the launch of, I think, XP, even Windows 7, Vista, and Windows 8, before they go to RTM, they normally manually increment the build number, don't they, to a specific number? Yeah. I think it was Windows 7, something like 7600, I think it was, or something like that. So I've suggested to Gabe Orr, and he's favorited my tweet that Windows 10 should be released with a build number of 10789. So we'll see if they went with. We'll see if they go with that one.
Yeah,
I think that'd be an excellent build number.
That would
10
be
because 789.
Yeah, I think and you'll be able to claim that as well.
I will, yes. So let's see if that happens.
Yeah.
Whenever that RTM build comes along.
So next week we'll have another build to play on, the new 10159.
It's amazing. As you said, buses.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So normally there's an empty one which comes along after the two which you've got.
Maybe we'll get a phone build tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I wonder when we're going to get the next slow build.
I think from reading Gabe's tweets, he seems to be indicating that they're probably going to try and escalate either 58 or 59 to the slow ring based on kind of general feedback and bug reports. So I'd imagine, these builds must be getting pretty close to final. So I think particularly when there's no issues highlighted in the blog post, and I think there's little reason not to kind of publish it to the slow ring, based on initial feedback of a few days, maybe a week.
Yeah, I wonder whether I think having the ISO is a real help when you have any of these install issues. You can just grab the ISO and install it, and like that's what I do. If these machines, if I struggle to get these machines going, if they do release an ISO of a newer build, then I'll just grab that and get them up to that level, and then try and get it working from there.
Yeah, Edbot's got an excellent post on converting the downloaded files into an ISO. So if you do want a backdoor in creating an ISO, it is possible.
Yeah, you grab the ESD file, don't you? And
yes, yeah.
I tried. I had a look at that, but for this morning anyway, obviously there isn't an ESD file, so you'd have to download it from over the internet, which you're never quite sure what you're getting when you do it that way.
Yes, yeah.
That's not
safe. And the other big news that everyone seemed to be jumping over themselves to talk about was the changes to family safety, which were numbered in, I think, maybe one big change.
Yeah, I sent you an email because I know you use that, but I don't.
Yeah, everyone seemed to get quite excited about. It seemed to be a news on a number of sites, so I'm not quite sure why. But there are some changes coming. They're kind of making the web filtering a bit easier, but the biggest change for me is a step backwards. But according to them, based on feedback, it makes it more simple. Is that it used to be managed. So we've got 2 children on it. It used to be that you managed each child, giving them time that they could use the PC, app restrictions and web restrictions. And so you did that once and that was it. Whereas what they've done now is they've separated out to per device. So I can kind of see some common sense that, you might have a PC that they take to college that you want them to have a bit more freedom on compared to, something that they use for gaming. But it does make it far more complex to set up time restrictions now, because you have to go through each device, and particularly if you want to say it can only be used between 8 and 7, 8 in the morning and 7 at night, you've got to go through each device and set them. Now I guess our kids aren't normal in terms of they live in a kind of techie household where we've got, my son's got a Surface, they've got access to a desktop PC. I think they're registered on my wife's Surface just in case they need to use something a bit beefier than the Surface too. So I guess, like I say, we're probably not necessarily a normal household, but for us, it's for me, it's a change to more complexity, not simpler. But other than that, really, the changes were more changes that had probably happened over the last kind of 5-6 months anyway, just being put formally in writing.
Yeah, so I saw that. So I thought of you when I saw the post. I know that you setting that up. I think I'd just go with. It might be simpler just to go with group policies and Active Directory in your house.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So now I've logged into my family safety. It used to be I just saw me and my wife and 2 kids, and now I see my eldest son. I see him listed 3 times. So he's listed against his Windows phone. He's listed against the Surface 2 that he uses that used to be mine, and also our desktop PC, which is called Skywalker. Don't know where I got that name from.
Yeah, funny. Mine are all named after racing drivers.
So now it means I have to go into 3 separate things to actually change.
I like the. I've just got to go back to that. I like the idea of being named racing drivers. So which one crashes the most?
Well, yeah, that's it. I think if you get one on an unstable build, you call them Aldonaldo. I did have one, a desktop one. I think it might have been XP time frame, XP Media Center on it, and it was called Alonso. But it had a problem with the fan on it, so it used to crash all the time. So we said, "Oh no, Alonso's crashed again," And eventually, the machine completely, God, he's died. This machine. We thought that's not a good thing to be saying, really. So, yeah. So we've got all sorts of machines here. There's one called Senna, which is the machine that will live on forever. And then there's McLaren, and they're a bit boring, these 2 now. This one's called Surface Pro 3, and this one's called Encore 8. I got less imaginative recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next one that's got on the fast ring, I think it should be the Maldonado. I think that was the old Windows Phone. When I was running older builds of Windows Mobile, I think.
I just noticed one thing. I know this is just recent or not, but the weather app, the adverts, which were really annoying, seem to have disappeared.
Yes, the weather app's had a complete overhaul, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer. I like the new weather.
Yeah, I really like this
Yeah.
layout, and no advert, which is brilliant because that used to be really annoying. It was a lovely sort of design, then you had this advert splonked in the middle of it. Maybe they'll.
Yeah, it's looking quite nice. This.
Yeah, it's a lot more information in there as well, which is cool.
Yeah, and there was a couple of things that were. Oh, one thing I added as well on the Windows. Well, my son, a request I don't think we've seen now that my son said to ask Microsoft for is he wants all the tiles to have the same color in Windows Phone or on his phone. You know, so if you've got blue, you want all blue tiles. He doesn't like having the mixed colors. So
it should be a choice.
Yeah, it should be a choice. Yeah. There's quite a lot of color options now as well. I noticed, but somehow I was setting up this Encore. I picked my color scheme on it, and it managed to change my Lumia 1520's tiles to brown because I got the color syncing on, but they're not must be matched up very well. So I had this horrible brown tiles on there.
Not good.
Now there was a couple of things I did want to mention. This Samsung thing we kind of briefly mentioned. I guess we should talk about that really. So what's the background on that? Who wants to talk about that?
I can take it if you like. So basically, Samsung have got their own automated updater, and a researcher on the web was looking around and discovered that when this updater was running, it was disabling the registry keys which allowed Windows Update to run. So basically, it was blocking Windows Update. And even if you re-enabled Windows Update, it was then reblocking it again. And they sort of contacted Samsung and spoke to someone at Samsung. And they said, "Oh well, yeah, that's because you might get updates which break our hardware."
Right. But no security updates.
No security updates. So I mean, this has gone on for a few days, and there's been sort of claims and counterclaims, and Samsung saying no, we don't, and people saying, "Oh yes, you do," and then saying, "Oh yes, maybe we do," and "Oh no, we won't anymore." So they've agreed that they're actually going to take this away, and they will allow Windows updates going forward.
Right. Yeah. It's a bit of a storm in a teacup, but then nevertheless, it's an important thing. You don't want to be blocked from Windows Update, do you?
No, but especially if you want a Windows 10 upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's something that, with Windows 10, I think that Microsoft have really taken control of all that, haven't they now? So there's no messing about with updates, and the drivers are coming down. I've been touch wood, but I haven't had to install any drivers manually so far.
Yeah, it does seem to be better on new drivers.
I mean, that's the nice thing about keeping with the same driver model, isn't it? But I mean, even just a few years ago, if you did a clean install, you had to go to HP's website and try and find the graphics driver because it wasn't on Windows Update. But now everything seems to be in Windows Update.
Or your printer driver, for that matter.
Yeah, especially at a Vista time frame.
Yeah. Actually, that's something we should have mentioned on the phone build. The fact that you've got native printing built into the phone now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I mean it's there. The options are there to print. It doesn't seem to work particularly well. I guess there's something coming in the future to allow for the actual setting up of printers to work with it. But there is an option to print in Windows 10 Mobile, which is for me is quite a step forward because I quite often only carry my phone. And if we're going to have this continuum on phones, it's going to be great to be able to print out your boarding passes, whatever, when you need them. I know obviously you can carry them on the phone, but there's still some airports which don't allow that. So I don't think that's a nice. I mean, it's sort of almost a historic step now to print things out, but it's still a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have on there. Oh, do we have any other? Oh, I got an update for the Microsoft band for the firmware last week. There was no particular release notes, but I have been seeing 85% battery charge rates, which previously the band would say 20 or 30%, then it would jump to 60, then it would say 70, then it would say 80, then it would say 100. And I've started to see 85 now, so I don't know what other changes there are. I tell you what, the band is very good at charging it. You can get less than half an hour to go from flat to 80%. The last 20% takes quite a while, but you don't really need to.
No. Well, that's the same with all batteries. I mean, the last 20% is difficult to charge. So, yeah, it makes sense. I actually probably should mention this point. I'm currently wearing a Pebble Time. and I've been for a week and a bit.
Oh,
And
is
I
that
still-
that's the new one? Is it with
That's
the
the new one,
yeah?
new one, and I haven't actually had to charge it in a week and a bit. So, that's a pretty impressive. I think it's now up to 14 days, which I've never. I mean, admittedly, I'm really mainly using it on watch face at the moment rather than anything else. I will play with it a bit, but I still think that's pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, generally, I like it. I think the screen quality indoors isn't well. This is a bit of a difficult one because most of the watch faces are color, and the color contrast isn't as good indoors as it is outdoors. Outdoors, it just pops. It's really nice, but indoors, it's a little bit restrictive. But if you actually put it on a black and white watch face, it's as good quality, good contrast as the previous model.
Mm.
But, and I like the timeline. I wasn't really I didn't really think that the idea, this timeline thing they put onto the new Pebble OS, which it looks like Apple have kind of cloned for the Apple Watch, would be so. It really is the idea that you can sort of pin things in the future, in the past, and then basically have notifications which you can check to see for. So yeah, so I like last week when I was flying out to the flight, I could actually see when my flight was taking off. And sort of checking time and when I was supposed to get to the gate, and it was giving me reminders, but it was reminders based on an app rather than calendar entries, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, so you're going to get to do a review of that?
Yeah, I hope so. Well, it's certainly going to be on Fast and Tech, and I'll probably throw one for Digital Lifestyle as well. Yeah, no, really good. I've mainly got it because I'm doing some development on it at the moment as well, which is quite interesting. Pinning things down, it's cool stuff.
And the final story then, I think this week got a firmware update for the Surface Pro 3 last week and for the new Surface 3.
I haven't.
Have you still not got them?
No, you've still not seen the June one.
I got those on the day of, well, that's when I did the post because I saw them.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that. I keep getting the May one, but again and again and again. But no, I haven't seen the June one yet. Although they do stagger them, don't they? So I'm hoping it will eventually pop through.
Yeah. I think it was just by the Wi-Fi drivers, and I think they're ready for the Windows 10 build, aren't they? As well, it improves the battery life with the Windows 10 build. So, yeah, just minor changes on there.
There's one other thing as well, of course, which is instant reaction to the hero image.
Oh yeah, I quite like that. I know it got a bit of grief, but
yeah, I quite like it too. But we want to be a bit close encounters.
I've certainly got no objection to it. I think it's better than most ones they've come up with. So
yeah,
it's better than the Windows 7 one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you don't have to use it. That's the thing. I mean, I know. It's still wonderful, but you don't have to use that one. It's not like it's something that's rammed down your throat if you don't like it.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, UI is so personal. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really liked. My first impression of it was definitely, I really liked it, and I think it'll be, good. I mean, obviously it'll be the default wallpaper. If you upgrade, you'll stick with the wallpaper. Me, I've still got the Lego Movie as my desktop background. So
yeah, it's interesting when you see people's backgrounds. I mean, it's I often get complimented on my one, which is actually the deck of a boat. It just contrasts really well. But
yeah.
You see some quite cool ones out there. When I saw the other day, I couldn't work out what on earth it was, but it was sort of like a blue thing with bobbles on it, and it turned out it was someone's swimming hat. I'd taken a picture of it, and it worked really well as a background. So you never know.
Right, well, I think that's all we've got time for this week. So we'll be back next week to talk about the new build, 10159, and their escapades getting that installed. See how many hoops we have to jump through for that.
Yes.
We never know, we might have some...
Just my bandwidth fraggles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'll be slowing everybody down at work tomorrow while I download this new build. Hopefully I'll get it tonight before I leave. But yeah, so we're back next week, probably 9 o'clock in the chat room and everywhere else. So, where can we find you, Jason?
You can find me on Twitter at DatabaseJace.
And where do we find you, Gary?
On Twitter at Gary with 2 R's WMA, and also at fascinatingtech.com. And the next issue's starting to come together now, so look out for that. And we've still got competition going there, so there's still some prizes to win. So if you want to enter that, please do. And we'll see you soon.
All right, see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.